The mentality behind the crew chief is like they want the car to be fast. So if they give you a pitable car, you have to capitalize on it to show them that it makes a difference. Because if they give you a pitable car and then you flop that day, then they're more inclined to err towards the side of car speed and then maybe make it a little bit harder to pit because they know that the car's got to be fast on track. And if you're not going to do your job at a high level, then they've just got to hedge their bet on the car being fast and just eat the bullet with the pit stop. So when we were able to pop out pit stops and show him that, hey, we're an actual asset now all of a sudden, like it's become a more complete team from driver, spotter, crew chief, pit crew. Everything's cohesively operating at a high level.
It started off earlier this year. It was with my rear changer, Travis. It was with him and his girl, Maddie, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And I witnessed her come up to Nick and say, hey, listen, what can I do to help Travis focus more, or he could be more locked in for you guys so that y'all can be a better team? That spoke volumes, right? Even though she's a younger girl, but just like the thought of that. And then I witnessed my front changer get married. What was that, March? What was it, Homestead?
Yeah, Miami, yeah.
I seen his focus turn just a little bit, and then Nick with his wife. That Nick, your wife is a psychologist,
school psychologist.
Yes.
Yep.
So,
oh wow,
yeah. And then I know Nick, but you can't lie about nothing. But
no. Welcome in, everybody, to Backstretch Banter on Sirius XM NASCAR Channel 90. I'm Chris Childers. We are coming off of a race in Las Vegas. 3 left to go this season. Other teams are all wrapped up in the playoff and all that nonsense. Here at RFK, we are hoping for a great finish to the season. We'd love to see one of the 3 cars in victory lane, and today we have a special treat. We got 2 guys that are members of the pit crew for Chris Buescher and the number 17 Ford Mustang, Nick Patterson, the Jackman for Chris, and the number 17 car, and JaQuan Bailey, the tire carrier for Chris Buescher. JaQuan, Nick Patterson, it is great to have both of you guys at once together. This should be fun today, especially talking to you guys off the air and the little bickering and bantering going on, which just shows your teammates. Nick Patterson, it's good to have you back. I will start with you because I can tell you're ready to bust this guy's chops a little bit. But how are you today, sir?
I'm doing great. I appreciate the invite to return.
We love having you. JaQuan, it is a pleasure.
thank you.
I could just tell in a couple of minutes of meeting you, you are a fun guy with a one of those personalities. You like to get at it a little bit.
For
Hey,
sure.
How has this season been for you? It's certainly had its ups and downs, but overall, I'd say the number 17 car has been pretty consistently damn good. The pit crew's been pretty consistently damn good. Certainly, you'd love to get a little taste of victory lane. Maybe that's coming in Talladega. But for you, JaQuan, how would you describe it?
Whew. That is a great question. It's been very stressful.
Starting off with easy questions.
Yeah, just to say the least. But honestly, it has been a joy. It has been super fun. It has been a long season. I've never went 28 weeks straight, and we're at the final 3.
Yep.
Is it
3 to go?
And
yep.
it's kind of crazy because for the last 10, we've kind of got another surge of energy that has just came because we're in the runnings for this MVP thing. So to say the least, it has been a joy. It has been super fun, and I'm just super grateful. So,
all right, Nick. So he said stressful.
Yeah.
I want you to get a little bit more out of that for you and him as a tire carrier and a Jackman. As you have gone through this year, certainly this pit crew's had success. He just mentioned the MVP competition. Give us an idea of, there's a lot of luck in this sport. There's a lot of skill in this sport. Chris has been in victory lane in the past. This season, certainly, we'd love to see it happen over the next 3 weeks. But when he says stressful, what immediately pops into your brain?
Like you said, there's a physical stress aspect of it. The physical job itself, of the pit stops, everybody's like, oh, you did 6 stops today, and that was 8.5, 9 seconds a piece. So you didn't even work 2 full minutes today. But it's the preparation for that. You work basically a half work day to fly there, to set the box up, to prep the wheels and tires, and then the meetings and the car check, and then you actually do the race, and you're going through the sweating and the attempt to rehydrate and get the electrolytes in, all while trying to perform at the drop of a hat for the pit stop, and then you fly home. So you've got 2 flights in one day, and that's not really good for a recovery standpoint and for a hydration standpoint. So it takes a few days to get back to normal on that, and so you combine having to do that cycle for, like he said, 28 weeks straight, and it just wears on you, not only physically but mentally, because there's we talked about it on Sunday. There's an aspect of having to be able to turn your switch on when it's time to really lock in and focus, but to sustain that for an entire race is really an impractical thing to try to do. Like, you have to be able to turn that switch on and turn the switch back off and let yourself relax. Otherwise, you end up keeping your heart rate up at a place that's just not sustainable long term. You'll wear yourself out. You'll be mentally fried. So
it's an interesting point.
Yeah, I
think it's a lot of management. It's a lot of stress management, body management, mental management. JaQuan, I think, Nick obviously put it succinctly in words, but for you guys, it's as a team, how would you say you manage that together? Because you truly are a team. A pit crew is, everybody thinks about the driver and the crew chief. The pit crew within itself is a team within the team.
Mm-hmm.
And how have you guys, JaQuan, kind of dealt with the rigors of the season together, if you will?
We kind of came together more, I would say, more than a team. It's almost like a family, right? Because when you spend so much time together, you really don't have a choice but to come together closer and closer through the ups, through the downs, through the highs, through the lows, through some of the more emotional days, like when where was that at? We came in second. Michigan?
Yeah.
Michigan, Pocono.
That was one.
Yeah. Chicago even. So it's just like, over time, it's like we almost come together like almost like a offensive line group, right? Like, as in, like, we're just bonded together all on one, just accord, right? Like, as in, like, just the center is our refueler, right? As in, because the car can't do nothing without the fuel. Then you have your left tackle, who is Nick. He's the most important guy. Then, bro,
that's right.
Then you have the 2 changers, who are the two guards, right? And then you have me, who is like almost like the right tackle, right? That I kind of make sure that everybody else is on just the same accord and that we're all on the same beat, right? And just like over time, it's just like we are just trying to become, I would say, the best offensive line for Graves and for Busher and for RFK. So it's been very fun, very stressful, but just, I don't know. It's just, in a sick way, I kind of don't want the season to end, but on the other side, I'm like, oh my gosh, like, we only got 3. So it's kind of a, you know what I'm saying, just a tale of two sides. So
I understood what you just said on a pretty deep level. And I think a lot of football fans, and NASCAR's got a ton of crossover in that department with football and racing. I think they'll understand it as well, because I think any college football fan, any pro football fan, any high school football fan, whatever, they understand you're only as good as you are up front. You're only as good as you are on the line of scrimmage. And as far as the offensive line is concerned, your quarterback can be the greatest quarterback in the world. You could have the greatest driver in the world, but if you don't have an offensive line that can get the job done, your driver's not going to do a damn thing.
Right.
Yes.
You have to be able to do the job up front, and that's exactly what you just described. And it is a team effort, and there is harmony. So let me ask you this, Nick. How do you handle the highs and lows with each other? Because there are going to be mistakes made.
That's a great, great
You're
great
laughing.
question.
Go ahead. Get into this, boys, please.
So
Go ahead.
Well, I would say, you know, as he was talking, you know, you think about, we are kind of like a family, but you don't get that family feel with just every team that you get put with, because we don't get to select who comes on the team and who doesn't. We don't get to look at, hey, you know, we're looking at these 4 carriers, and, you know, we want you guys to kind of hang out with them, and you determine, you know, they're all relatively close skill set wise, but choose the one that you feel like best fits for you. It doesn't work like that. So we all got paired together, and it was just one of those nice things that happened where we have all grown close because of everyone's mindset is of one accord. The work ethic is there across the board. Everybody's skill level is also at a elite level, so it's very easy to mesh together whenever you have all the pieces that you need to create a good team, even a great team, an elite team. And so we have all those pieces, but we also have like the character and the personalities, the different personalities that we have on the team is a huge deal to what makes the team good. And, you know, from Bailey, who's a 19-year veteran, he jacked for Martin Truex, he won a championship, and now he's a fueler. And, you know, he was an elite level Jackman for a while. Now he's a fueler. He's our veteran. He's our captain. And so his dry humor and perspective on a zoomed out, I'm on, you know, 2 decades doing this type of view, to where we've got, you know, Jacob, who's in his 3rd year, I think, and then JaQuan's in his 3rd year, 2nd year, 3rd year, and, you know, I'm on year 8 going into year 9, and Travis, I think, is on his year 6 or something like that, 5 or 6. He came from Haas, but
yeah.
just
like the gamut. You know, we have the whole gamut of guys, but then within those different experiences, we also have like a variety of personalities, and we really have become very close. And we joke, because I'll say, you know, I don't want to lose you guys, you know, because the way that this sport works is you could be with a team that you love one year, and then the next year you're with a completely different group, or they take 1 or 2 guys away and mix and match and whatnot. So like the joke is that when I say that whoever I say that about ends up leaving. So it's like, don't say that. You can't say that.
Yeah. So
but I truly don't want to lose any of them. We've got a really, really good thing going.
Yeah. So just to kind of piggyback off of Nick, is that my appreciation for the sport has grown so much in just the last year, because in sports, I feel like some of the high ups, whether that's in the NFL, college, that they sometimes think that you can just plug and play, right? And I would say inside NASCAR, it's even, I don't think that that's really the case. Yeah, like people like get excited because of numbers and all this other crazy stuff, but then just in like the grand scheme of things, it's really not about the pit stop, right? To me, from me just learning firsthand, it's about the other basically 12, 13 hours inside of a race day, right? Like that's from just the plane ride, that's from the van ride, that's from the way that we set up, that's the way that we prep the tires, that's the way that we blow out our box. That's what happens when a bad stop happens. That's what happens when the great stop happens. That's the plane ride home, right? To where I would say that the plane ride home, or even from the van ride to the plane ride, to me is the most crucial time of any pit crew, because that's when the time that you kind of get to reflect, and that guys can like tell, all right, well, this happened. Well, no, this is what happened. And then for us, we actually have a great leader in Bailey Walker that has been doing it for like 19, 20, whatever years, that he kind of schools us, right? Like when, let's say that we didn't have the greatest day, well, like kind of Bailey kind of in just the grand scheme of things, he kind of checks us, right? Telling us that it's never too high and it's never too low, and then you always have to check your emotions, because things are never as bad as what they seem, nor are they never as good as what they seem, right? Like I remember we was in Darlington or somewhere else, and we had ran one of our fastest stops of the year, and then Bailey kind of humbled us. Well, I was still waiting on the tire, so really, truly, you were fast, but you really wasn't that fast, right? And then just for me, Bailey kind of Bailey has kind of gave me just personally more like insight of like what actually happens on pit road, right? From the driver's roll time versus what actually happened on pit road. We can run an A2 to like an A1, but if Chris can't accelerate through the line because of another car cuts him off, well then that could, in the grand scheme of things, cost us 3 or 4 spots, right?
Yeah.
So it's so much that goes into it that has to be studied to where that it takes a person to really understand everything that actually goes on inside of every great team to like really comprehend it. Does that make sense?
Yeah. And you had asked about like how we handle, mishaps or highs and lows, and I think that everything that he talked about with the van ride, the plane ride, the way that we've grown close to each other, then you start to learn like how the guys on your team respond to different things. How do they respond to you getting in their face after the stop, or do they need a minute to kind of process it themselves? And I think that we all do a really good job when something goes wrong of just not really saying anything. Like we all know what happened.
Yeah.
Like we all know
awkward
that,
silence.
yeah,
like,
you messed
it's
up.
Like,
we know it's you.
Okay.
All
right.
But nobody's going to say it because we all know.
Basically.
But then we'll talk about it later. After the emotions have come down, the tempers have come down, we operate as a team and everything that we do affects the whole team. And so there's no reason to jump on somebody.
That's only on the race day.
Right.
Respectfully. Like on the race day. Now, during the week, that's a different conversation. But, at the track, we have to keep it P, which is professional. So, we have to just,
Yeah.
Is that the absolute biggest key to developing consistency within a pit crew? Just having that communication, having that trust, having that
respect.
Not going to get on your ass on race day. We'll talk about it when we need to. I mean, it's
takes
got to be a huge component, no?
Honestly, what it takes is you just have to be humble, right? Like, you have to be approachable, right? Like, if a guy is not approachable, then he starts to become a cancer. And then we all know what cancer does, right? That cancer kills you.
It spreads. Yeah.
So
you got to be coachable, essentially, like in football.
Absolutely, right?
From a peer-to-peer standpoint.
Not from like somebody that isn't a part of our team, but from a player to player to coach to the crew chief. There has to be a sense of we are willing to be approached, right? Like that nothing is above them, right? Whether that's from Chris, whether that's from Graves, whether that's from Nick, from Bailey to Paul to Travis, right? That in a sense, everybody has to be willing to be approached. And then that's when I feel like that you will kind of get the greatest out of everybody, right?
Right. Yep.
Because when a guy is not approachable, then that's a hiccup that isn't being corrected. And then when a hiccup isn't corrected inside of this sport, there is absolutely no hiding. Like there is no hiding just away from it, because everybody now is good, right? Whether that's from the top of the top car to the bottom of the bottom car, everybody can run 8s, right? But it's just about who can run 8s over and over and over. And like even when you are sloppy, you can still run like a 9.3, like a 9.2, like a 9.1. You may not gain, but then you may not lose either, right? So it's just guys have to be very approachable. Mm-hmm. And I do see it inside of the sport to where when guys get a little good, they start smelling themselves, right? Mm-hmm. And with our team, that's the one thing I do love about our team is that everybody is approachable and that everyone's humble, right? As in Jacob, he's the cool frat guy, right? That had and played football like around just some of the brothers, so that you know what I'm saying. So he's just super super cool. Travis is just Travis. Travis is just a upbeat, happy go lucky guy 24/7. Bailey is the father figure. Nick is the soul brother. Nick is the soul brother, right? where like Nick is the perfectionist, right? On our team he's almost like a Tony Stark inside of a sense, right? He's a Tony Stark mixed with like a Doctor Strange. But
Nice.
and then it's
Nice
like
mix.
and then it's like, you know what I'm saying? You got me, obviously, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, what are you?
Wakanda. I'm just playing, but it's more like I'm like the Hulk, but I'm like the Hulk when like he hadn't got like a little sensitive and stuff, and then like he could go and smash things, but he's more of a lovey-dovey guy. That's, you know what I'm saying? That's me, right? And it's just like we just all mesh, right? And
I
it's
love it.
and it's like the guys have to mesh, and it's the teams that don't mesh. It just doesn't work inside of this sport because you got to be able to lean on one another, right? Because this is a long season. This is 38 weeks. Like I'll tell you, like it's gonna be ups, it's gonna be downs, it's gonna be days where like you feel like the slowest stop you can run is a 8.5, and then there's days where like there's the fastest stop you can run is a 10.05. Like that's just I don't know. It's just crazy. But honestly, truly, if everybody is approachable, from the car chief to the crew chief to the engineer to the second engineer to the tire guy to the tear off guy to the fueler to me to Nick to even I would kind of go just a step farther to just the plus ones, right? As in like to like, you know what I'm saying, Nick's wife to like Travis's girlfriend to Paul's wife, because there were going to be times where guys are just frustrated, right? And that your plus one can like almost in a sense kind of be the common effect to say, hey, listen, this guy right here loves you. He doesn't mean it personal. Just try to cool off and come talk to him later, right? And it's crazy, but like a lot of people will never think about that, but I got to witness that this year, which is crazy, right? And I had to kind of sit back and just be like, wow, like, man, like me coming from football, I would never ever would have thought about something just as that simple. But inside of NASCAR, it's 95% mental. It's really only 5% physical. So every little thing matters, from the way out there we eat just together, from the way that we argue about where are we going to dinner, just the
chemistry.
Yeah, so it's just it's really, to me, it's just a family, honestly. And it's like I kind of, once again, I see us as the offensive line. So
yeah, I'd say initially, like it took a while for JaQuan to grow on me, but I will say there was one thing that he said initially. He's like, you know, people often misread me, but one thing I can be certain about is I grow on you, and he was right about that. He grew on me. Now he's like a brother to me.
Yeah, man.
Oh, I love that. Well, I think this is a really fun conversation for people to listen to get inside the dynamic of the pit crew. And this pit crew has been really successful all year long. Yeah. The pit crew of the number 17 Ford Mustang, driven by Mr. Chris Buescher. Let's take a break with JaQuan Bailey and Nick Patterson. We'll continue with the tire carrier and the Jackman for the number 17 next, right here on Backstretch Banter. We're back here. It's Backstretch Banter, Sirius XM NASCAR Channel 90. Chris Childers here. It's your home for Roush Fenway Keselowski Racing. This episode kind of different, but pretty damn cool. I've enjoyed it so far thoroughly, hanging out with Nick Patterson, the Jackman for Chris Buescher on the 17 Ford Mustang. Also JaQuan Bailey, the tire carrier for the number 17. And both these guys were just, kind of getting into the intricacies of what makes chemistry work in this world, from a mental perspective, from a physical perspective. There's a lot of layers to it, and we'll continue to talk about it. But I do want to shine a light on the success that this pit crew has had this year to both of you. Right now, you're P3 in the standings for the top pit crew of the year in NASCAR. Nick, I know it's a little different competition than the one that's going on with the playoffs, but right now, certainly, it's got to be a great reflection of the work that you've done this year. But how has it made you a little extra competitive, knowing that as a pit crew, you are competing for your own championship with just a couple of races left to go?
Yeah, I enjoy and demand the best out of myself, and I think the guys also know that that's the way I feel about it. And the pit crew of the year being that we're ranked third, that is a separate metric than, like you said, the MVP trophy through Mechanics Wear. And so the Mechanics Wear trophy is strictly just a playoff bracket that essentially ranks teams throughout the playoff to determine. The idea is like who's the most clutch throughout the playoffs the most consistently. It's basically how fast are you under yellow on all 4 tire stops, and there's a metric that they have that calculates what the positions that you gain. There's a numerical value associated with the positions you gain depending on where you're running. So you gain 2 spots from 30th. That doesn't mean as much as if you gain a spot or maintained from 5th. So they have a metric that determines all of that, and we basically get to see every now and then after the round of 16, the round of 12, round of 8, they send us, hey, here's where your rank is currently. And after the first round, we were leading. After the second round, we were second by, I think, half a tenth on average. And so we'll find out after Martinsville, where everyone stacks up going into Phoenix for that particular trophy. But on the year, according to what we see, we are third overall on stop time alone over the course of the whole year. And we can talk about the different things that impact that and whatnot if you want. But yeah, it's been a great year of consistency.
Seriously, for both of you guys, what goes into determining that?
This is a cool topic for me because when we talk about stats that are kept by the MLB, NHL, all other sports teams, the entity itself keeps those stats. So the teams don't have to keep those. The entity itself keeps those stats, and NASCAR keeps some of those stats. But from a ranking standpoint, a lot of times the rankings can't be that accurate because we don't have, like, NASCAR doesn't have a hub that all teams have their film sent to that gets broken down, and then you're ranked based on that overhead. There's a company called Asphalt Analytics that the Toyotas use, and then I think Trackhouse also uses. And then there's another one that HMS uses, and then there's the Bolt 6 that we use, and then there's the old SMT. And so there's all these different ways that you can package the data and you can evaluate the data, but there's not one source that everyone's film goes to and it gets broken down by that source. So what you're looking at kind of has to be taken with a grain of salt. But according to what we see on the SMT, which is what we look at because all the cars have that sensor in them. So you're getting the car stop to up, the car drop to left side up, and then the car drop till it moves. So you get all the cars have that, and we get that data. So that's what we focus the most on because that is one thing that is constant across the board, and it's not anybody breaking it down. It's just based off the sensor in the car. So based on that, we are third on the year, I believe. And that doesn't involve, looking at which teams leave the car up at speedways and which ones drop them after the tires and then wait on fuel. So when the car drops on the left side at a super speedway, the time stops. But some teams decide to leave the car up on the left side until the fuel is complete, and then they drop it. So they might have been done with tires 3 seconds earlier, but the stop time is reflected when the left side drops. So they may have been faster than us on tires, but we wouldn't know that because we don't have everybody's film. So we also look at teams that do 2 rounds in a single hole, like on the right rear or left rear. And so when you do that takes extra time. Or if you have a behind the wall issue where a hose gets caught under a splitter or something like that, that is a outside of the ordinary pit stop that shouldn't factor into a team's overall competitive average. But those things will just plummet where you rank. Mm-hmm. And so, like, to be ranked third, and I think that's an unfiltered ranking. I think we filter things out here to just kind of get an idea. Hey, we can't filter everybody else, but we can filter our stuff. And when we filter out certain stops that are outside of the ordinary, where do you stack up? But we can't do that for the other teams because we don't have film on all the other teams to know which ones of theirs to also filter out. So it's a little bit of a complicated thing. But I would love, if there's anybody listening to it out there that has a solution to having a stats keeping organization that wants to keep the stats for NASCAR and NASCAR wants to partner with, that would be awesome. I would love that because then you get an accurate representation of who you're competing against, what they look like on the stat sheet and from a film standpoint, and then you get an accurate ranking of all your personnel on pit road.
I sort of feel motivated to start that. That actually seems like they always say on that show Shark Tank, like if you see something that needs to be invented, you see a part of the consumer realm that's missing, and you got the idea to fix it, then that's the gold. So you just gave a gold idea for somebody out there to standardize the pit crew statistics out there, which I think would be really cool and much needed for any NASCAR fan would like to get into that and enjoy it, because certainly it has so much to do with the winning and losing and the success of the team each and every week at the tracks. Nick Patterson and JaQuan Bailey, two guys on the number 17 pit crew, our guest. JaQuan, for you, being in a competition, even though from a team perspective with the playoff and all that, it didn't work out, but being in this competition with a few left to go as a football guy with your background, has it added a little extra pep in your step?
For sure. Honestly, yes and no.
I love that answer. And I'll tell you why, but keep going.
Because I feel like I'm the guy on the team that is like always like, I'm just super, super petty. Let's say that. So when I see that anybody's
Can confirm.
that, so even like when we have our group practices or like anything, like I'm just super, super petty. So throughout the year, we felt some type of way because about the rankings and all this other stuff that I won't get on. I can't say it on camera, but we're feeling some type of way. Really. So it's when this competition came, it was like, all right, we see it and we want it. So bet. So my mindset never changed.
Yeah.
It was just my intensity just switched to another idea, right?
Okay.
As in, like, we just really wanted to get into the playoffs. We felt a little short, and we knew that we were better than half the cars that were in the playoffs, right?
Yeah.
We knew that. Well, we know that we were better than majority of the crews that are in the playoffs. Mm-hmm. So we felt some type of way. So then we, as a crew, said, well, what's another way that we can stick it to the competition? MVP trophy. Simple as that. So
finding ways to make things exciting, and if you lose one goal, you got to find ways to keep motivating yourself. I mean, it's
got to shoot
like
for the stars
like
and
football,
land
honestly,
on the moon, right? Like that's like us. We were going for the national championship. Okay, well, we lost three games, so the best we can do is a New Year's Six bowl bet.
That's the goal.
Well, yeah.
So
yeah, and I like the way he answered what you asked
him. Go ahead, Nick. Yeah.
Because does it change the level of like I like to look at it like does it change the level of output or the level of focus that you have towards something? And if so, why is it that you have to be extrinsically motivated to give your best? And so that's why his yes or no answer I appreciate, because it didn't change the fact that he always tries to give his best and he holds himself to a very high standard, but it does change your perspective on what you're racing for now. Whereas before it was just, let's try to stack as many, top 10s on ranked top 10 pit road ranking every week as we can before the end of the season. And now all of a sudden it was like, no, we could actually win a MVP trophy. So the focus changed, but the level of intensity and the attention to detail would not have changed. And that's something that I know about. He's actually really good at studying film and recognizing little tendencies that we can, like even on race day, like, hey, I think your tires, being set here, and you usually like to take it from, 6 inches to the left, and I think that's affecting the way that you're being able to get into the left rear there. So maybe have your tire roller change that. And so
plus I'm petty too, so yeah.
He says petty, but what he really means is he's not afraid to say what he sees if what he sees is worth saying.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And to me, it's not petty. It's just he's not going to hold it. He's not going to hold it in and just be nice. He's going to say it, and I appreciate that about him because you always know what you're going to get from him.
Yeah.
Consistency.
Very much so. Yeah.
Consistency is key. And honesty.
Yeah.
Nick Patterson, our guest, with JaQuan Bailey, two of the pit crew members for the number 17 Ford Mustang driven by Chris Buescher. You mentioned earlier about the plus ones in your life and how it factors into the chemistry of the team and the consistency of the team and how, that's important. I
For
think,
sure.
Not to bring football too much into it, but certainly JaQuan's got that background and was highly accomplished at Iowa State in a college level, for a Big 12 team. So this guy knows something about it. But, it's kind of interesting to me because you think about it, coaches always talk about how their wives and recruiting and in the background, they're huge, right?
Yeah.
And I'm sure, JaQuan, you felt that with the staff. Give us an idea of with the pit crew, JaQuan, how the plus ones factor in.
Well, it started off earlier this year. It was with my rear changer, Travis. It was with him and his girl, Maddie, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And I witnessed her come up to Nick and say, hey, listen, what can I do to help Travis focus more, or he can be more locked in for you guys so that y'all can be a better team? That spoke volumes, right? Even though she's a younger girl, but just like the thought of that. And then I witnessed my front changer get married. What was that, March? What was it, Homestead?
Yeah, Miami, yeah.
I seen his focus turn just a little bit, and then Nick with his wife. Nick, your wife is a psychologist,
School psychologist.
Yes.
Yep.
So.
Oh wow.
Yeah, and then I know Nick, but you can't lie about nothing. But
No.
but seriously though,
She reads me pretty well.
Swear, like she's the boss. Listen, shout out to her. She's the real MVP because she keeps Nick all. This man brain is always on 10. So shout out just to her. And then Bailey, I see him with his kids and with his wife, and about how seeing the way that Bailey goes about his life with his kids and his wife, and about how Bailey always keeps just the main thing, right? As in, I remember last year when we first got together, we was in Bristol and we sucked, boy. We were cheats, and our coach Scott came up to us and he forced us to practice on Monday, which is.
That doesn't happen normally.
Yeah, that's diabolical.
Monday's your day off.
Yes. And Scott came up to us and he had said, if it's not your faith, family, and a pit stop, I don't give a damn. And so it was just like Bailey the whole time. He's always been faith, family, and then us. So it was just like, I don't know. It was just something that just kept on dawning on me just this whole year. And just to see how important that a guy's personal life comes together with his professional life. I didn't think that it was as important as like just inside of NASCAR as it is in football, because at Iowa State, my defensive coordinator, Coach John Hadcock, one of the best, or if not, he is the best in the entire country. After every game and before every game, he used to tell us, "Hey, listen, when you call your loved ones, don't moan and complain." He didn't say that. He said something similar. But he would just tell us, hey, your people at home, your wives, your mother, your brother, your sister, whoever, they don't care to hear about how you really feel about the game. It's just hearing from you, and then just receiving that love and just that appreciation from you means just the world. So coming into NASCAR, I got to witness that with a, great crew. Whether that's Graves when he brings us his daughter's cookies.
Yep, every week. Yeah, his daughter makes us cookies.
You know what I'm saying? That's because the thing smack. But but honestly, and even to my tire guy Nate, with him and his beautiful family, with all his wife and his daughter that's still colors in just a side post. It's crazy, but it's like all of like just the smallest things that you you as a fan may look over it, but it just means just the world, right? Because all these guys are gone each and every weekend. That can kind of start to, you know what I'm saying, dawn on you. And then that can create a wedge home. And if you have a wedge at home, then I know for a certain that you're going to come to work angry, mad, taking that, you know what I'm saying, out on us when we didn't do nothing to you. So that's why that I say that your plus ones really, really matter, because everything inside of our sport matters, because it's so long and it's so mental that it takes everyone, and everyone means your plus one, your kids, your wife, your even you know what I'm saying, even just a dog. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like, seriously though, y'all are laughing,
I get it,
but
man.
I'm being
No,
dead
you're right.
serious.
You're right,
because this is what I've got to learn throughout just this whole year. So
I totally, trust me, as a dog person, I totally get it.
Yeah, but
let's
Nick's
take
a
break.
cat person,
What?
though, so you know that's I don't understand.
I love
He's a
dogs
6'3"
and
guy
cats.
with two cats from like the. What type of cats are those?
They're Sphinx cats. They're
oh
hairless.
my gosh,
hairless
they have
cats.
no hair.
Oh, wow.
So
You're
him
one
and
of
his
those
cats
guys.
are bald.
Well, we
like,
chose cats because me and the wife are hardly home.
True.
So
Yeah, it's true.
So we didn't want to have a dog that was just sitting there wishing we were home. And so
Okay.
we got cats, and they act like dogs, because as soon as we come home, they come running. They want to play. They want to be around us.
Canceled.
Yeah,
I was about
don't
to
get canceled now.
Yeah, I was about to get canceled.
But we also don't like the hair, so they're bald and I'm bald.
We
so
support
we
both
get along.
the dogs and the cat community on this show.
For sure.
We'll take a break. We got more with JaQuan and Nick next right here on Backstretch Banter. All right, we're back here on Backstretch Banter, Sirius XM NASCAR Channel 90, your home for Roush Fenway Keselowski Racing each and every week on Sirius XM NASCAR. I'm Chris Childers. This has been a fun show today, hanging out with two members of the number 17 car pit crew, Nick Patterson, the Jackman, and tire carrier JaQuan Bailey. We've had a fun conversation so far. It has been an interesting year. The pit crew certainly has had success. The team overall, it's been mixed results, but overall, I would say a solid season that just would really be nice to see a victory lane at some point over the next couple of races. But when you think back on some of the pit stops, guys, what have been some of the more memorable ones this year, Nick?
Man, it's hard to pick out a single stop, but I will say that Darlington as a whole was probably one of the most fun races that we've had just pitting, because I don't think we did an adjustment. And so we were just 4 tires, straight up, straight in, straight out all day. And that is the most ideal situation for a pit crew, is to have an open end of the stall, open out, no adjustments. You're creating a rhythm. And that day we were on. And when everybody's firing on all cylinders like that, it's a ton of fun.
Mm-hmm. JaQuan, anything, any good, bad, indifferent, special pit stops that come to mind?
I have a couple.
Go ahead. Share with the audience.
Yeah, what you got?
I would say the first one was to start off the year. We were in Daytona because we were P1. It was the start of the
We
year.
were ranked first on pit road at
Yep.
Daytona, is what he's saying. Yeah.
Another one, it would have to be our first time as a crew running like top 3 the whole day, and we hadn't executed, right? And I felt like that was when Graves like knew that he had something special, right? What was that, Michigan, or where did we go before that when we ran top 3 the whole day?
Richmond?
It may have been Richmond or either Michigan, one of the two. We were like, yeah, it was Michigan. Yeah, it was Michigan because we were P1 again. And then I think that was when Graves, our crew chief, was like, okay, I got some dogs now. So like now I can, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I kind of seen like his swagger.
Gives him some
come out.
confidence, yeah.
Yeah, it was, we kind of have this funny saying on our crew. Now, I don't know if I can say it over here, but it's a very funny saying that Graves heard me saying, and then after that day, he just kind of started saying it, and I looked at him crazy, and then he was like, "Yeah, on some." I want to say it, but I don't know if we can cuss on here, but
Just don't. Yeah, don't worry. Just,
okay, all right. Well,
we
yes.
get the idea.
Yeah, it was
Is
just
it something you'd never expect to hear from Graves being a
yes.
very
Graves,
tight,
yeah.
engineer glasses,
Yeah, yeah.
just a very straight up collar tight
Yes.
kind of guy.
and it's
Glasses.
like
Yeah.
and it's kind of like he was kind of like the scientist or like this doctor that shirt is always buttoned up, and he finally just
Unbutton that top
just-
button, yeah.
No, he unbuttoned the top and the second one. You know, he was letting some of just the chest hairs, and it was just to me, it felt pretty good just to see him not be so uptight, and then like finally have that confidence inside of us. So I guess that's why he, in the grand scheme of things, let us roll as soon as the playoffs go.
Mm-hmm.
So I would say that was more memorable. So.
Yeah, some of the mentality behind the crew chief is like they want the car to be fast. So if they give you a pitable car, you have to capitalize on it to show them that it makes a difference. Because if they give you a pitable car and then you flop that day, then they're more inclined to err towards the side of car speed and then maybe make it a little bit harder to pit because they know that the car's got to be fast on track. And if you're not going to do your job at a high level, then they've just got to hedge their bet on the car being fast and just eat the bullet with the pit stop. So when we were able to pop out pit stops and show him that, hey, we're an actual asset now all of a sudden, like it's become a more complete team from driver, spotter, crew chief, pit crew. Everything's cohesively operating at a high level.
Source of pride internally from you guys, especially, no question. Let's take our final break. We have more with Nick Patterson and JaQuan Bailey right around the corner. We'll finish up with the Jackman and the tire carrier for the number 17 Ford Mustang, driven by Mr. Chris Buescher, next on Backstretch Banter. We're back on Backstretch Banter, Sirius XM NASCAR Radio, Channel 90. This is your home weekly for Roush Fenway Keselowski Racing. I'm your host each and every week, Chris Childers, Nick Patterson, and JaQuan Bailey, our guests today, as we get ready to take our team to Talladega. These guys are the Jackman and the tire carrier for Chris Buescher and the number 17. We just talked about some of the memorable pit stops of the year. Talladega certainly could have some memories this weekend. We'd love to see the team in victory lane. But before we end the show today, and I do want to say thank you to Thomas and Elijah and everybody else that helped us put it on, Alec back in D.C. But, guys, give us an idea of Talladega from a pit crew perspective. And, Nick, what makes it challenging?
Well, we're hoping that the car is going to be very pitable from a droops standpoint, because that's one of the things you fight at super speedways is you want to keep the car sucked down. So when I jack it up, it takes longer for the wheels to droop out because the shock bleed is slower. So I think our goal is to just pit that shock bleed as fast as we can, and we want to do the 4-tire stop, drop the car, and wait on fuel, because that's what we've seen is generally the best way to do it, with having all 4 tires on the ground for him leaving. But Talladega is less about us being super fast and more about us executing and then letting the car do the rest.
JaQuan, we have a minute and a half left. Talladega, I'm sure from a crowd watching perspective,
They want to see this. They want to see the slingshot.
a beast in itself, yes. But you, in your words, in 90 seconds, tell us about Talladega.
He gave you a time limit because you've been so long-winded.
I know. I'm sorry. Hold on. Hold on.
That's all you got to say. Hold on.
Because you never know. You just never know.
Yeah, super speedways are such a emotional roller
Yeah,
coaster.
you just got to hold on.
Yeah.
The last like 10, 20 laps, do you guys just say, all right,
It is what it is.
we made it to that point. Let's go.
Yeah,
It is what
honestly,
it
though,
is.
if you make it to the last 10 laps or so,
Yes.
then everybody's got a chance at that point.
Yeah.
So it doesn't matter if you're running up front for those 10 laps. It could all change in turn 4. So
For sure.
it's
And
an
it sure
emotional
probably
roller coaster.
will. Yes.
Yeah.
And it does often.
Often.
Exactly.
And it
Often.
probably will
will.
this weekend for sure.
No doubt about it. Well, to you, go Cyclones.
Absolutely.
And Iowa State and Matt Campbell as a beloved Cyclone alumnus. I know they love you there, JaQuan, Nick.
Yes, sir.
A pleasure, as always, to hang out with both of you guys. It has been a really fun show today, getting to know a couple of the pit crew guys for RFK, and it's kind of cool to have them on together.
Yeah.
Because you can really get an idea of the dynamic and the chemistry behind the scenes, which I think has made this show today a little extra special. Again, thanks to all that helped put it on. I'm Chris Childers for Nick Patterson and JaQuan Bailey. It's Backstretch Banter with RFK Racing, and we appreciate you all for listening. Thanks and enjoy Talladega.
Thank you.